There are a couple of ground rules that you need to know before you can develop the perfect answer to this question. Rule number 1, do not talk about your personal or family life. When someone asks you, tell me about yourself, they're not actually asking you to tell them about your personal life choices and the mistakes that you've learned from and how you got here as a human being. They're not actually asking you to tell them about yourself. They're actually asking you to tell them about your qualifications, your experiences, as well as why you're a good fit for this role. That's it. They just want to know about your professional background and experience in a nutshell. Rule number 2, do tell a story. Even though I said you shouldn't be telling them your life story, you do want to tell them your professional work story. I'll get into details about this a little later, but essentially a good professional work story means that it needs to be engaging, compelling, clear, and complete. 4 major tips on how to answer the tell me about yourself interview question. Okay, so let's start off with tip number 1. Tip number 1 is to give a snapshot of your work history. So what this means is you're going to go back in time to the earliest professional job that you've ever held, and you're going to start your story from there. So you're essentially going to describe what company you worked at, what the title was that you held when you were in that position, how long you stayed in that position for, and most importantly, what were your major responsibilities in that position. Tip number 2, make your mini stories achievement-oriented. So after you've told the employer about the company that you were at, the title that you held, the number of years you were there for, and the major responsibilities that you had in that position, you're then going to also describe one major accomplishment that you were able to achieve in that role. On to tip number 3. Tell the employer what you know about this role. Once you've gone through your entire story and you've told the employer about your major roles as well as the accomplishments that you've achieved, it's now time to acknowledge to the employer what you know they need for this particular position that they're hiring for. Tell the employer why you're the right fit for what they need. This is the icing on the cake. It's the cherry on top, and it's the one thing that many people do not even bother to say when they're answering this or many other interview questions. And that is to tell the employer to literally spoon feed them, to maybe even brainwash them into understanding why you are the one and only and perfect fit for this position.